Enugu State Government has confirmed the arrest of a 35-year-old man, Mr. Ozioma Okonkwo, for allegedly defiling his two biological daughters, aged 2 and 5. The suspect, a native of Imo State residing in Enugu, was apprehended following a distress report from a concerned citizen. Authorities said the arrest was made on Saturday night after a coordinated police operation. The suspect is currently in custody and will be charged to court after investigations are concluded. The two victims have been taken to a government-approved shelter where they are receiving medical treatment and psychosocial care. Their mother, reportedly traumatized by the event, is also undergoing therapy under the supervision of the ministry's counseling team. The Enugu State Government commended the police for their swift intervention and reiterated its zero-tolerance stance on sexual and gender-based violence. Officials pledged that offenders will face the full weight of the law. The Commissioner for Children, Gender Affairs and Social Development condemned the act as a heart-wrenching and unacceptable crime against innocents, assuring residents that justice will be served. We've had, Mr. Kolawole, we've had cases of child assaults. This seems like another one popping up here. What's your opinion on this story?
I mean, I cannot begin to count, at least the number of child assault cases I've discussed on the show. That is to show you how prominent this issues has become, especially, you know, this sort of assault again, you know, incest, if I may use that word.
No.
Others that are supposed to protect their families, their household, their daughters, are now assaulting them sexually. And I fail to understand or comprehend how such a thing can be done, you know. Well, I mean, I'm glad he has been arrested, and I hope the new bill that has been passed takes effect. I mean, some weeks ago, it was pushed that sexual assault against minors would be much more would be much more handled in a stringent manner. So I hope this is handled in that light, because I mean, like I said, you are supposed to protect your household, but now fathers are now being having affairs with their daughters. I don't know. The question I keep asking myself is where have we gotten it wrong as a society? Because the world is moving towards better things, you know, AI, tech, advancement, and we are here still battling things like, you know, fathers sexually assaulting their children. We need to do a lot more better as a society, and that begins with the legal system, which is why I said I'm glad that, you know, the bill has been passed, and hopefully with time, as soon as possible, the rate of this of such crimes will reduce. I mean, some months ago in Madagascar, it was said that castration was the sentence. You know, of course, when proven beyond reasonable doubt. When I came on the show and I said I literally supported that, you know, it sounded harsh, but that, when you want to handle situations like this, I feel like you need to handle it with a strong hand, right? Okay. Because when people feel they can get away with some things, they would fail to call themselves to order. I mean, a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, I don't understand how a man, a grown-up, would be excited by that. So I feel like there's a moral degradation in our society, and the legal system should be the first point, you know, should be the first point of contact for people, for perpetrators like this.
Mr. Kolawole, I read a story recently on X where a young lady was saying that she boarded the bus and the woman came in with a 5 or 6 year old boy, or probably 5 years, and then he at first he touched her on her breast. She thought it was a joke, so she allowed it slide. He did it the second time, and she told the mom that this is what your son did, and the mom replied, "Na pikin now." Men like that thing. And then he did it the third time. She spanked the child, and then the mom reacted, and she also faced the mom. So, like you said, moral decadence, and where I'm heading to is there's been an argument that there are fathers. There's a difference between a father and a man. Do you think we've moved beyond checking the psychological state of most men before they go into procreation, or every man can be a father?
I mean, very, very interesting question. And I've said it on the show many times that not all men, not all women, uh, like, how do I, okay, not all women should be parents, not all men should be parents.
Okay.
And I mean, that literally answers your question, because people out there are not everybody is even mentally stable, if I may say that. Because, like I said, how do you picture a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old and you're excited by that, right? You're sexually excited by that. It makes no sense to me. So, also, when we talk about, the moral degradation in our society, it's just like the example you cited. We should always all point at something that is bad and say it's bad, right? Until we can begin to do that, our society will keep having this off and on. I mean, just like you cited there an example earlier, I heard of a story of a woman. She sells on the street, on the roadside, like a trader, and on the other side of the street there is a church, and this girl goes to the church. She was probably 8, 9, thereabout, and I think along the line, she was assaulted, and the child told her mom. The mom did nothing, right? Along the line, people found that legal personnel were now trying to pick up the case and all of that to ensure that the perpetrator is caught and justice is invoked. But the woman, which is the mother, was like, she knows she don't want wahala, she doesn't have money to chase all these things and all of that. These are the things we are saying. Now, that kid is probably going to be traumatized for the rest of her life. I mean, I psyche is already being being tampered with, given that she's been assaulted at that age, and given that her parents, which is her mom, I don't know if her father was in the picture, but her mom at that point, the story is just basically the mother responding to it. Her mom at that point could not even fight or help her fight the battle. So how do you expect such a child to grow up in a society? And at the end of the day, these things respawn, and it affects the society negatively. Like, for example, such a kid, when she grows up, she tends to see the idea of men differently, right? She tends to see the idea of sexual relations differently. She tends to see the idea of even relationships and marriages. She could end up being, in quotes, I mean, sadly, she could end up being on the immoral side of things, right? Because right now, nobody's even trying to push cases for her anymore, because the mom was like, she does not want any issues. Let them leave her child for her and all of that. So we need to be, I mean, in much more developing societies, these things are battles that the system will even fight automatically. You don't need anybody to pay any bills for you, right? In a developed society, such a case would have been taken up by the state, and which is the country, right? And the perpetrator will be held accountable. But here, you find out that this thing just passed like breeze. I mean, there was a time, I won't mention the police station and all of that. Someone went to report that a young boy was touching a kid, which is a girl. And she went to report, and right there, I was, I happened to be around. Right there, the policemen were jokingly saying, this one don't be woman. And this is a young girl, for crying out loud. So these are the things. We shouldn't even allow such. Imagine the police, which is supposed to be like protectors, of in the society, making such statements. It means it's not taken seriously, if you ask me. So we need to ensure that these things are much more fixed. Let our laws be fixed on the concept of rape, the concept of child assault, especially with minors. Let our military, paramilitary, our policemen be educated on the gravity of such situations. Some will even go as far as saying, no, let's settle this thing, out of court. Let's not take it too much. And someone has been assaulted sexually. So we live in a society where it's not taken seriously. But hopefully, with this new bill that has been passed, we'll begin to see a bit more positive difference. Hopefully.